Good evening and welcome to Wednesday night on Bad Dog Comedy TV, live on YouTube and Between Friends, the show where friends talk to friends about their friendship. Our friends this week are the Templeton Philharmonic, Gwynne Phillips and Briana Templeton.
Hi!
Wow, it's the show now.
It's the show. We're in the show.
I like that music.
I know, me too. It's kind of turning into the JFL sting.
Oh, the sting.
Sting.
You know?
I know.
Who knows?
Ah,
Maybe it will.
yeah.
Mommy, it's starting.
Yeah, love it. Classic. You know, that's how we should end the show too.
That's how we should show. Mommy, it's
classic.
Yeah, it's a classic bit.
What a gag.
How's it going over there? You look like you're in a liminal space.
I am in a liminal space. Right before this, I maniacally tried to make my apartment look as neutral as possible. So I hope. And I think it did.
It did. In a sort of an eerie, you were in heaven sort of way.
Maybe, who knows?
Yeah.
You also have a lovely, not so liminal space.
No, mine's a bit depressing, it seems. Mine looks like
you've got a poster, a couch. What else?
I have the Invasion of the Body Snatcher above my head, and then some like a bit of the discrepancy between paints here. We've got a matte and a shiny, so that doesn't look great. And I got to work on the background, honestly.
I would not have noticed the matte shiny.
Well,
but now
that's what you notice when you're insane. Yeah. And it's the only thing you look at for months and months.
I just watched Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Good, right?
Great.
Leonard Nimoy
and what's his name? Donald Sutherland.
Yeah,
D-Sub.
D-Sub is a babe.
Totally.
Young D-Sub. I mean, old D-Sub too. I'll take him.
And what was that movie from the other movie from the 70s he was in that we watched?
Don't Look Now.
Don't Look Now. Anybody watching? Watch Don't
You
Look
guys
Now.
have to watch this film. I'm telling you. It's traumatizing.
Really depressing, but in a beautiful way. And
in a beautiful way, yeah.
Now we walked away with a mean crushes on 70s era D-Sub. So.
Also, Clute. Great film with Jane Fonda being a babe, you know?
She's such a babe.
She's still a babe. And she's like activism and like, I don't know how she looks the way she does. She's like 80 something, like, you know?
I was doing a lot of her aerobics early in the pandemic, like from the 80s.
I know.
And they were great.
I need to get on that. Did you have a VHS tape or were you just watching them on YouTube?
All on YouTube.
Okay, I pictured you putting in VHS tapes every morning, but this makes a lot more sense. Now that I said it out loud, I know that doesn't make any sense. But speaking of like weird liminal space stuff, my favorite thing is in a lot of those 80s videos, or at least one in particular, the theme song is sung by one of the dancers. So they'll be doing aerobics as she's singing. Can you give us a taste of that?
It's do it, just do it. And then it's all very inspirational.
So they use the Nike slogan.
It was pre that, so Nike
stole
ripped them off, I think.
They'll be getting a letter from me.
Or we'll be getting a letter from them after this.
We're getting a cease and desist from this show, from Nike themselves. Should we answer a question? Is that what we're supposed to do?
I could talk about this all day.
Oh wow.
How did we meet?
How did you meet?
Hit my head
online. No, we didn't. Okay, do you want to say?
I'll say.
Okay.
We met in theater school. We were just young, eager theater students who wanted to perform experimental plays and Shakespeare. Yes. And we used to get in trouble because a lot of our drama teachers would be like, oh, you keep trying to make every scene funny, and not every scene's funny. Humor can be a crutch. And we're like, oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
You're right. Humor is a crutch. We'll never do humor again.
Yeah, so they were like, be serious. And maybe because we were the same height and we both liked doing comedic scenes, we were never cast in anything together. No. So we became really good friends, but we had never really worked together until one day, almost 10 years ago precisely, we decided to do what we thought was going to be a really serious dramatic piece together.
And it was not. It was we thought it was going to be like we were planning a very dramatic play, which featured, I think, some sort of sailboat that transformed into something else. It had a big sail that was also a hammock, and it was all very experimental. And then we eventually realized that it was all a collection of comedic scenes. And then we were like, wait, I think this is sketch comedy. And then we started doing sketch comedy. We did the Montreal Fringe Festival back in 2011, folks. We are very young.
And I think Sean Murray, who's on tech.
He was there.
He was there.
And he can't confirm.
He says.
Yeah. And we, our very first review, I hope that's not a question, but our very first review was in the Senior Times. So if that says anything about our type of humor.
Popular with retirees.
Yes. They loved it. Great. And an old man with a big, long, white beard walked right into the dressing room while we were changing and decided to tell us how much he loved the show.
It was very nice.
Yeah, it was quite nice of him. But I guess that doesn't really answer how we met. But we did meet in theater school, and Briana wore a lot of interesting scarves. I remember that.
Still do.
It might answer the second question, but perhaps there's another answer to this question. Let's see.
What was the first show you did together? Oh, we moved speedily along.
We moved too speedily. And, we forgot to mention a very key bit of housekeeping off the top, which is you can make a donation to Bad Dog Theater.
You absolutely should make a donation if you can.
baddogtheater.com/between-friends. And any donation $3 or over, you get a tax receipt. So that's pretty great. Oh, and I think, like and subscribe to this YouTube channel because it's great.
Yes, I agree. And Bad Dog is great. And they've been putting out so much content all throughout the pandemic and even before that. And they're just the best people. So donate, please donate. Do you guys want to see more comedy after all of this? Yes. Maybe some of you don't, but then my question is, why are you watching the show?
There you go.
What was the question again?
What was our first show we did together?
Okay, I'll answer. It was the Montreal. Well, no, that's not true. Actually,
it's not true. We did a few others before that, and I think one was the most glamorous, exciting one.
It was. Oh, yeah, it was. We went to U of T, and because U of T has a lot of money, they just they were like, for your last year, you're all going to Milan, Italy, to participate in a futurism festival, and that was great for us because we were all broke students, and fine. We didn't know what we were doing, but we ended up doing like a really strange play? Would you call it a play?
A collection of happenings.
We were wearing gold bodysuits that originally they covered our whole face. They were like sex. They were a kinky thing that we ordered, I think, from Japan. And they didn't have, it was faceless. And so we had to cut face holes out. And we wore those for the whole show. And it was about futurism and it had to do with anything to do with the future, basically. And Briana wrote a sort of a sketch, which we didn't really think of it as that at the time.
I wrote a weird scene sketch type of thing, which was in Italian, which I'm sure was not great. But there was a scene that involved a baby, and I was like, oh, the baby can be played by this creepy marionette. And then I was like, oh, I would love for someone to sing opera in Italian as this creepy puppet appears on stage. And so I said, hey, Gwynne, I know we haven't done a show together before, really, but do you mind singing to this creepy marionette walking out on stage? Yeah. And Gwynne killed it. And we ran around eating a lot of gelato.
Yeah, it was pretty great. It was pretty great. We had no idea what we were doing most of the time. And, I think we actually skipped out on a few rehearsals to go saunter around, but oops.
But
I think it was worth it. I think it was worth it.
Yeah.
But that was our first show. That was our first real show. And then our first sketch show was probably in Montreal.
And we called it the Templeton Philharmonic, thinking it was just going to be the name of our show. And we thought of it really last minute because I think we applied for Montreal Fringe like 5 minutes before the deadline.
We applied at Kinko's on Bloor in the annex. And we were like on the computer for some reason. See, this is like what was happening. Neither of us had a laptop. Like, I don't know, something was weird. So we were on the Kinko's computers and trying to apply for a Fringe festival.
$1 a minute for the internet.
Yeah, and then we just came up with the name like in 2 seconds, and then it stuck.
We were almost the Leather Feathers because we were doing like panic brainstorming, and we were going to be Templeton Phillips, but then we're like, it sounds too much like a law firm. So
it did sound like a law firm. A lot of sketch troupes do sound like law firms, though, if you think of that.
That's true. And we have had people come to see our shows thinking that we're an orchestra. Once an orchestra on their night off came to see one of our shows, and we didn't know till we were chatting later at the bar of like, oh, thanks for coming to the show. Like, what are you into? And there was somebody who's like, I'm a French horn player. Another person's like, oh, I play the cymbals. And then eventually all put it together.
Confusing. Yeah. And then we're like, oh, there's a whole symphony here, thinking that we are also a symphony. And they said, we still enjoyed the show very much.
So there you go. Them in the
did that wrap that question?
I think it did. I think we're ready for number 3. I think this is going well. What drew you to dark and surreal genres?
Oh. Well, I think I was raised on a lot of really dark and weird films that I didn't realize really was seeping into my subconscious as I was growing up. Like, I don't know. There were a lot of weird movies that I watched as a kid, like Return to Oz and The Witches, and I don't know. Even weird BBC version of Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, like stuff like that, kind of just all formed my brain. I think I watched Wizard of Oz on loop for my whole life until my parents would just put it in, and then all I wanted to do was just watch that all day. So, I mean, that explains a lot for me about what but then I don't know, I guess like I had never really met another person who kind of had that similar brain to me in that way.
Totally. Yeah. Like I feel like in terms of our taste, which is sometimes like dark and surreal, but also very silly, and finding what's silly about that, about laughing at
stilt guys. I know. Those stilt guys dissolving into sand scared me too. Scarred, even better.
Or heads in the cases.
The heads in the cases, the wheelers.
Which I also love and hate at the same time. And I think that's what's so interesting. I'm like, I don't like this, but I can't look away. And it's kind of funny, but kind of scary at the same time. And I feel like we both really like playing in that space that's a bit like the subconscious, or laughing at something, but you're not sure why. That's really fun. And yeah, I think Gwynne and I, we also just love hanging out together and traveling together, and in addition to doing shows together. So we'll be like, let's go watch a really weird movie, like we're talking about Donald Sutherland, and laugh at it and be freaked out by it at the same time. So yeah, I think it's just our taste and influences, and starting from like more like experimental theater, where it's all about like, don't be afraid to dive into the subconscious things. So that I think that's really fun and interesting, and can have a lot of depth, but sometimes it can be pretty funny.
But also our theater program was very like everything. I mean, it was great, not to shit on it, but I feel like it took itself very seriously. And I think we were like yearning to do something that could just kind of throw all of that out the window, but still laugh at it in a way, which is why we perform in leotards and do a lot of sort of like mock interpretive dance. Yeah. Because I mean, I think we were just like dying to not everything has a meaning, and not everything has to be or does it? What makes it so funny to us? But I know some people might be like, what are you guys talking about?
Agreed.
But yeah, those wheelers really messed with me.
Now I really want to watch that.
The wheelers messed me up. And remember Fairy Tale Theater?
Yes, with Shelley Duvall.
That really influenced me too. The Snow Queen one was really traumatizing for me. But, here's the thing. I don't know why I'm getting so into my childhood. Maybe I need to discuss this in therapy. But
here. This is perfect.
Or here. My brother always hated them to the point where he'd hide behind the couch and couldn't watch them, and it was too scary and he hated it. But I would always be I loved it, but it scared me, but I loved it. And I think I was laughing from being scared. And I think that's kind of what we do. We like to laugh when we're scared or something.
And I think we're similar in that way with our siblings, because Gwynne has a brother and I have a sister. And for me, I remember being in love with the Phantom of the Opera soundtrack, and it would freak my sister out, understandably, but then I'd be like, no, I have to listen to it every night before I go to sleep. And I'd sleep
Fun.
like this, and then she'd be freaked out, and I'd be like, haha.
You kind of still do sleep like that.
I think.
Briana has a tendency to sleep like she's dead, which is great, for a partner or something. But, when I'm traveling with you, it's really scary. You kind of sleep and she makes no noise the whole night. And then you wake up very abruptly, almost like a corpse rising from the coffin. Anyway, question number 4. How does your background in sketch translate to your immersive shows and installation pieces? Wow, we sound very important. Oh my God, there's a fly in my apartment. Sorry.
Did you get it?
I don't know. Maybe I did it. I don't know. We'll find out. How does your background in sketch translate to your immersive shows and installation pieces? Well, no, you answer and I'll answer after.
I was going to say, I think they really, so first of all, if people haven't seen our stuff too much, we do sketch shows, which are sometimes surreal and dark and silly. And then we also do immersive pieces. We did a show called An Evening in July, which was immersive and kind of Grey Gardens-esque a little bit. And we've done one that took place in the 1920s at Campbell House Museum. So you could kind of wander the museum, and it was this eerie but funny murder mystery kind of story. I think that sketch has really helped us be a little bit less precious in our writing in a good way. It's okay, because sketch, you don't want to bore the audience. You want to draw them in. You want to make them laugh. You want to bring them along for the ride, and be unafraid to really explore really over the top characters and get to their essence right away, and also figure out what their motivation is right away, and how do you heighten that?
Yeah.
So I think, I don't know, I love all kinds of immersive theater and stuff, and I can't wait to see a show like Sleep No More or something again. I love that show. I've seen it many times. Gwynne has too. But I think we were interested in doing that, but one that's, you can go into the world of the immersive theater piece or installation or something, but that it also makes you laugh a bit. I think that the laughter, it helps me think about things in a more layered way and keeps me engaged.
And you're allowed to deal with super dark subject matter. A lot of our shows deal with death and loss and pain and all of this stuff, and depression and anxiety. And I feel in order to deal with those things, in order to deal with grief and stuff, you have to laugh. You have to find a way to make it light. And sometimes the laughter is almost as painful as the pain. So, I mean, this is classic, classic. Many people have said this throughout history, but I feel it's something that often theater does take itself too seriously. And I think theater people could really learn from the sketch world in terms of you have an idea, you can execute it quickly. How fast can you get to the essence of the sketch? How quickly can you show the audience who this character is, and get to the main meat of the scene as quickly as possible without all of these drawn out scenes that go on and on and
95 lighting cues later. That can be beautiful to see. But I think us having gone on tour where we're okay, we're performing at this tiny 2-foot stage at the back of a pub, and we still have to make the scene work. I think that was really good, hands-on experience of okay, what do we want to say? How do we draw the audience in? Go for it.
But I also think that on the flip side, having a theater background helped us a lot with sketch, because we were able to, like, we took a production course where it was like, oh, we understand kind of the tech side of things, but often tech people in theater are a little too, I hate to say it, but like everything takes triple the length of time, because it's like comedy tech people like Sean, for instance, who's amazing, like
Connor,
holy, like this is hard to do. Like, it's really hard, and like, but for some reason, comedy tech people are the best, and they can translate to theater really easily, but not often the other way around. Like, I feel like it's hard for theater people to like get into the rhythm of sketch or like improv lighting cues to like music cues. It's hard.
Definitely. And I think everybody's attention spans are getting shorter. I know mine is. So in terms of like...
Briana's doing an ad for TikTok.
I know mine is.
I know mine is. TikTok. Try it today.
Try it today.
No TikTok. There'd be no ad for TikTok either, because it's so cool and like...
So cool. We don't need ads. Who needs ads?
Yeah.
I think it's time for another question.
Okay.
Is it going to be our last one, though? I don't want it to be.
Oh, maybe we went too fast. I felt like it. Oh, no. I think there's more, maybe.
Or maybe we went too slow, ironically, when we're talking about pace. Rate D-Sub's hotness, 1 out of 10.
Ooh.
Circa 1978. Is that how you... Circa, right?
Circa 1978.
Like Circa nightclub. That's a throwback.
Circa 1978. I'd say for me, he's at like an 8.5.
I'm gonna go
9.
I'm gonna go with a 9.
Maybe 9.
And you know what? I want to go full 10, but I feel like the 9 is what makes him interesting. Like 10 out of 10, it's like,
yeah, I mean, he's tall, he's mysterious, he's bearded, he's confident, he's kind of nerdy, but in a sexy way. He's sleuthy, he's 10 steps ahead. He's everything.
He's everything you want him to be. This also sounds like TikTok ad.
You like D? I know I do. D-Sub. We're getting Donald Sutherland an ad.
Oh, number 5. If you had unlimited resources, what would be the show of your dreams to co-create?
Unlimited resources. Duh. Well, we've always had very limited resources.
Very limited resources.
I actually, to be honest, I'm going to say quickly, and you can say probably the better answer, but I prefer to have fewer resources sometimes, because then you are forced to work within what you have, and you feel more accomplished for creating something with a smaller budget. Although, like, it would be obviously amazing to have unlimited resources, of course, but sometimes, if you have unlimited resources, your show gets unruly and lost, and the premise kind of gets floated away, and your whole thing kind of just goes, oh, now it's this massive $1 million thing that is not what
you've made Waterworld, and that's not exactly what you wanted to make.
Exactly. Like, sometimes it needs to be, not a small budget, but a medium budget.
But it does help to have a couple, you want to break boundaries, but it's good to have boundaries to be like, okay, your show is in this theater on these dates and blah, blah, blah. But it's interesting to think of what the Templeton Philharmonic's Waterworld would be. I mentioned that as an example. I'm just guessing the budget is high.
Our version of Waterworld.
I think we should.
We should do that.
We did write a full script for a project that I don't know if we want to talk about it.
We did.
It takes place in the Bermuda Triangle, and it's an ensemble piece, and Amelia Earhart's in it, and it's really out there in a lot of great ways.
It would be very hard to make.
We realized
many
we're like,
hundreds of millions of dollars.
There are 300 pink dolphins that emerge from the ocean, and then there's I think that would be good. Also, recently we filmed a short film called The Women's Hour that's going to be playing at the Toronto Outdoor Picture Show sometime in August in Toronto. It's going to be screening before Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, which is a great film. But it takes place in the 50s, and we really wanted to have a scene where we were wearing marabou robes.
And then we realized
marabou robes out of our budget.
Nobody knows what marabou robes are, so we need to hold their hand a little bit.
They're like your prototypical like 1930s, 40s, 50s kind of like movie star dressing gown.
Big sort of floofy sleeves that go into a loop, like a
faux fur or feathers, and it's very like. Oh, are we getting a visual?
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. These are kind of the porn version. So if we find
the old Hollywood fuzzy robe, which is a great way of saying marabou.
Nothing wrong with the porn version. I mean, they are great. And also those ones are very expensive as well.
But that's a bit more of a like marabou robe.
Marabou. Yeah. This is marabou to marabou for us. We want more of like,
Sunset Boulevard as we're ascending the staircase.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, the sheer illusion, I'm not sure, but if people want to do that, find, great. Oh, the glam stuff. Yeah, that's kind of very like a bit more like.
These ones are very cheap. So, maybe the ones we were looking at, I think, were maybe vintage. I don't know, but they were satin or silk or
they were like at least 400. And we're like, okay, that doesn't.
Or we would, you know what? I'm just gonna say, to bring it back to the question. I know what marabou robes are. Thank you, Avery Jean. Thank you, Norma Desmond. Thank you. We have the right audience here. Yes, exactly. But I was gonna say, our Evening in July show, which we talked about earlier, the Grey Gardens show, I'd say maybe our biggest budget like immersive show we could do would be like either we turn that into like a feature film or we actually film that in a decaying like mansion a la like Great Expectations or something. Like if we could somehow, if anyone has a mansion that's falling apart and they want to like give it to us to use.
We have our tetanus shots. We'll run around.
We also have our vaccination shots.
Which is
a bit more
important.
Yeah.
But yeah, and weirdly in Evening in July, that show, it's very kind of like Grey Gardens, but it's about two sisters who are in this weird, surreal kind of spooky, decaying mansion in the 70s, and they're very like isolated.
Yeah.
Even though it's a dark comedy, but now it feels very timely.
See? Very timely. Any producers watching?
Yes.
See? It's timely. So give us money to make it, is what we're saying.
I think there's also, we're going to do a little rapid fire.
Okay, there's a
something.
Sure.
Did I hear a little rapid fire something?
Wow!
You did!
Hey,
a little rapid fire.
It's me.
Guy.
I'm the P. I'm the god of friendship, and I'm here to tell you about the lightning round. Are you excited about that?
Absolutely. I think
friendship with a PH. I got
very cute.
Very cute. That's I guess the P. Yeah, sure. I get it. Yeah. The P in friendship. Yeah. Or I could be at the end. Maybe that's why.
There you go.
Friendship-y. Yeah, that flows.
I love
great.
the friendship-y.
Well, we're going to do the lightning round now, and we're going to send up 10 questions to you. And the object here is for you to point at the person you think best satisfies the description of the question. I'll be gone, so the pointing is going to be all different.
You'll be gone. Okay, I'll be here. Okay, got it.
It'll be like this. It'll be like this.
Like
this. There, practice. Great. Nice. We got it. And just to warn you, I'm going to play some fast jazz. So are you ready for this?
Yes.
So ready.
All right, let's do it.
Who's willing to cry at a movie?
Ooh.
I think.
I also cried at a Pampers commercial once.
She cries at a Pampers commercial, so.
Probably me.
Probably Briana. Gotta say.
I'm really bad. It's been my New Year's resolution for 10 years.
She's
very bad. I'm sorry.
Fast jazz.
Gwynne's very patient.
Wait, we got the late one.
Okay.
I need to break a prop.
I
don't know. We're picking the props.
Both of us would do it while we were dancing in a tizzy, and then we'd be like,
I think both. We gotta do both. Forget this. Maybe
probably me. I'd be like,
it could be me too. I've had a few times. It'd be me though. I wouldn't have known. Like it would not. I would have. I have to write everything in a real calendar, so like I can't put anything on my phone. So it might also be me.
we spend so much time together that we'd probably already be together before
getting ready for the show. Yeah, I don't think we've ever forgot a show.
We'd collectively forget, I guess.
Yeah, we've never really forgotten a show fully. No,
our brains are pretty fused,
melded.
Oh, I think I'm more jumpy.
Briana's a little more jumpy, but depending on how many coffees I've had, I can be a little jumpy as well. Like the other day, someone walked in a room and I went, ah! And
was it Rod?
I don't know why I can't remember who it was. I should have been Rod. I don't go anywhere else.
But I like roller coasters and Gwynne does not. So that kind of.
No, I don't. But that's because I don't like this element.
But we both, and I love it. But we both love existential fear, I guess. So
yeah, and we don't get. I feel like we're not actually scared that much. Just a bit jumpy. Maybe we're a bit jumpy.
Jumpy.
Yeah.
But the fast jazz is now.
Who is better at keeping up with you, Briana? I think.
Oh, I'll say sure, but we also have a joint email account as well. So
we do. God, we're so annoying.
We're really nice. Sorry, we're the same person. So
yeah, we do have skydiving.
Ooh,
probably me.
I think Gwynne. I've always wanted to go, but I'm very afraid of heights. So
yeah,
I don't think I'd enjoy it.
Then again, I don't know if I'd love it, but I probably would be more likely to do it. But I would try it. I'm a little, I don't know why I'm acting like you've asked me I have to do it now. Like I feel like I have to jump on the plane in 5 minutes.
How else are we going to end the show?
Yeah, probably likely to forget their lines.
I don't know.
Maybe me? I don't know.
I'm gonna say Gwynne, but then Gwynne is also a very good improviser, where once we had to do a rap battle as the tortoise and the hare, and Gwynne somehow forgot her lines, and then just like freestyled a bunch of amazing rap about...
Actually, all I remember is everything went black. And I was going to a bunch of kids,
and you know what? Kids
don't blur.
Children don't give you pity applause, and Gwynne won the rap battle.
I tend to paraphrase a lot. I don't necessarily forget the lines, but I do paraphrase. I kind of take the lines and just make them my own. But sorry, writers, I know it's kind of annoying. Break some world record. Oh. Very interesting question. Who's most likely to break some world record?
I feel like Gwynne is more competitive in a good way.
Maybe, yeah.
You'd be like, I'm gonna stack these clothespins, and I feel like you'd be like, I'm gonna win. I have the, I have the, like,
I'd be a little,
follow through.
I'd get a little crazy with it, maybe, if I got,
You'd have the follow through, but then I feel like I would be more likely to like tell you that like, hey, did you know there's a clothespin competition? Like,
Briana would know about the competition, and I would have to do it. Yeah,
because I like the weird facts, and then Gwynne would be better at the execution.
Who's best flyer? Ooh.
Both.
I don't know. Probably both. It's bad to say, but
I don't think we'd be good at lying to each other.
No, I can always tell when you're...
Yeah, you'd be like, I love this pasta. And I'd be like, oh, she hates it. But then everybody else would be like, Gwynne said she loved it.
No, she didn't. Yeah, we can always tell. And I feel like, lying... I mean, we've had to lie in situations together, which has actually come in handy a couple times. Not because we're trying to, like, dupe someone, but we're just, like...
Just polite fibs of like, no, this Airbnb experience was wonderful.
Yeah. Some other ones too, but I won't say.
Or just both of us, or neither of us extreme sisters.
Yeah, this episode is Extreme Sister.
That would be the title of our Waterworld, Extreme Sisters, Marabou Robes Edition.
Yeah, and when I go skydiving, I'm going to be like, Extreme Sister! Oh.
Perfect.
Well, that was great.
That was great.
Fast jazz really amps you up, you know? Like, I feel like I'm in a montage in Manhattan going, oh my God, I have to get the diamond, the cash.
Stack the clothespins and then lie about the pasta.
It felt like I was in The Big Short and I had to do a monologue that was like, So I walk into the office, right? And here I am talking to Joe, and Joe says something about his coffee, and I had to go, oh yeah, right, Joe,
Yeah. And then I'd be in the cubicle being like, and you'd be like, don't got time.
Yeah.
Gotta make those photocopies. No, I don't know what the movie's about.
It's not The Big Short. It's about the stock market crash. As you can tell, it's about the stock market crash.
Make it work.
Oh, and just like how the stock market crash came to an end.
A smooth, yes. So does this show.
Wait, how are we supposed to?
Oh, yes. Again? Well, I think we're supposed to subtly tell people to donate
to Bad Dog Theater. Do that.
Because they're wonderful. So
baddogtheater.com/between-friends. baddogtheater.com/between-friends.
Wonderful. Oh, and you can keep up with our stuff at Templeton Phil on Instagram and Twitter. We'll be posting about that short film, The Women's Hour, and the screening at Toronto Outdoor Picture Show, which is wonderful.
Yes.
What else do we have coming up?
None of Our Business is an Audible series that we have that's all about eavesdropping. So if you find that interesting, we certainly do. I know I do.
We have a lot of like interviews and sketches with some really fun guests like Reggie Watts, astronaut Colonel Chris Hadfield, lots of people. Carolyn Taylor from Baroness von Sketch. We had some great guests. If you have an Audible account or if you don't,
Tony Hale from Arrested Development. Scott Thompson from Kids in the Hall.
Sam Richardson from Veep.
Yeah,
lots of people.
We're just plugging names. Name plugging. Name calling, not name calling. I don't know what it's called. Anyway, name dropping. Thank you.
Like name calling, celebrity name calling.
We're name calling.
None of our business on Audible. Check that out. Templeton Phil. Oh yes, and thank you, Bad Dog, for having us.
Thanks, Bad Dog. We really, really miss doing Templeton Manor when we used to do it live. It was our favorite thing, and bless you all for making any kind of content happen during this time. So thanks, Bad Dog
team, and to Sean for being on tech, Avery Jean for being our fabulous producer for this lovely show. And be sure to like and subscribe to Bad Dog Comedy TV.
And also thank you to you.
Thank you to
watching. You tuned in. You tuned in on a Wednesday. Wow. Good job.
Yeah. Also, which way do I face? This way. Thank you, Gwynne, for being
thank
amazing.
You, Briana.
I love you very much.
Extreme Sisters, high five.